I'm Tom. I'm the founder and chief ecosystem officer, as we call it, of Greenheart. We are effectively a sustainability consultancy, probably best known for helping companies through B Corp certification, but we do all the other good stuff like carbon footprinting and sustainability strategy and increasingly biodiversity impact measurement, which is really, really important and I hope gets talked about a lot in this room. The two things I wanted to share to help us kick off is firstly, why should we as business people care about social and environmental impact? And then what can we do about it? And why we should care. I mean, there are almost as many reasons for that as there are kind of days in the week or different types of business. And first and foremost, I think those of us in this space, and probably a lot of people in this room, just feel it's the right thing to do. And we don't want to pass on a legacy to our children and our grandchildren of an increasingly messed up planet. There is a deeply moral imperative to the work we are doing. And so very much that's part of what drives me and my team. That very much gets us out of bed in the morning. But when you're in front of the board of a big corporate client, it takes more than that. That doesn't wash on its own. And with some it does, and that's always nice. But actually the reality is that everyone else expects you to be looking at these things. Your employees, your customers, your investors, your sometimes suppliers, everybody expects you to be playing your part and at least being responsible, if not actually leading the way on some of the things that we'll be talking about. There's some common sense as well, because we can now see, and it's no surprise, the regulation on particularly environmental impact, which has been useless, particularly in the UK for years and years, is tightening rapidly. On the continent, it's tightening really rapidly, and the UK will have to follow. We need, as businesses, to get ahead of the probably inevitable, almost certainly inevitable things like, regulation, carbon pricing, things like that. So it's getting ahead of the game on some of those things that will be a material effect to your business. More tangibly, and particularly those in agriculture know very well now, there is a physical risk of climate change and biodiversity loss. And I was on a webinar this morning we were giving about biodiversity impact. Clients, companies volunteering the fact that they are now seeing how the loss of biodiversity is starting to impact their business models. And that's not cool, because if we are losing the thing that we are trading and reliant on, then we're in trouble from a commercial perspective. So there's a lovely quote from Larry Fink, who runs BlackRock. This stuff is not woke. This is capitalism. This is the future of business. This is the business context into which we are facing in the next few years. So I could go on forever, and I don't have forever to go on, so I will stop there and move on to perhaps some more practical topics. Hopefully I've given you a sense of why I think this is important. But a few things that I would invite you to consider both tonight and as you sort of take this discussion forward. What should we do on Monday morning? What are the practical things that actually we should be getting involved in? And the first one is probably also the most important one, is get everyone on the same page. And sorry, it's tiny writing for those at the back, but getting leadership teams, getting investors, getting your workers, getting your suppliers, getting your customers on the same page about why this stuff is important. These are not my problems or your problems. These are all of our problems. These are shared global problems, and we need to come together or challenges, let's say, in order to address them. So get everyone on that page. Most important thing you can do, and you will have people at different ranges of the spectrum in terms of how much they buy into it. That's fine, but get them talking the same language. I think that's the first most important thing you can do. The second one is understand what matters. One of the biggest impediments to making progress on sustainability is that it is such a massive topic, particularly when you look across the social and environmental angles. It can be very easy to be stunned into complete inactivity by the enormity of the challenge. The solution to that is to work out what areas of impact are most relevant to you, to your sector, to your business. Have you got a massive impact on biodiversity? If so, start there, but work out the areas where you have an impact and can have an influence, and prioritize them accordingly. And then the final one is obviously do something, and do something boldly, and really, really go hard at it. Yes, it is a well-known trope that, you can't manage things you don't measure. So measure what matters, absolutely. Plan how to improve those things that you've just prioritized. Do it, monitor the improvements, and tell the story. But above all, just get on with it. There's no point hanging around waiting for the perfect solution. Every little improvement, every little action that you take is a step in the right direction. So I hope, and I think there's one more click, and that just says that I think alignment is the most important thing. Easy peasy, right? 3 steps, enjoy.